Welcome to the weekly press briefing of the Kosovo Specialist Chambers, where we aim to provide journalists with an update on the latest developments at the court and the opportunity to ask questions. In the Thaci et al. Case, the parties filed written submissions before the pretrial judge concerning the points of fact on which they agree. The judge had ordered them to do so in line with the rules, saying that he should record any points of agreement between the prosecution and the defense in order to make the proceedings more expeditious by narrowing down the list of issues subject to dispute. In the same case, on 18th November, the specialist prosecutor filed a provisional list of its first 40 witnesses, whom the prosecution intends to call during the trial. The pretrial judge yesterday partly granted Thaci and Salimi's requests for leave to appeal two earlier decisions by the pretrial judge, which had authorized the prosecution to amend its witness and exhibit lists. In decisions issued on 18th November, the pretrial judge ordered the continued detention of Mr. Jakub Krasniqi and Mr. Recep Salimi. The judge found that there is a moderate risk of flight in relation to both accused, and that the risks that they will obstruct proceedings or commit further crimes continue to exist and cannot be sufficiently mitigated by conditions outside the detention facilities of the specialist chambers. The judge also assessed the overall proportionality of the time spent in pretrial detention and found for both accused that it is not disproportionate. In the Salih Mustafa case, the trial panel ordered the continued detention of the accused, finding that there continues to be a risk that Mr. Mustafa would obstruct the progress of proceedings and that this cannot be sufficiently mitigated by conditions or additional limitations. The trial panel also found that Mr. Mustafa has not been detained for an unreasonable period of time. An appeals hearing has been scheduled for next Thursday and Friday, 1st and 2nd December, in the case of Hisni Gutsati and Nasim Haradinaj. According to the agenda set by the appeals panel, the defense teams will each be given the opportunity on 1st December to orally present the arguments supporting their appeals. On 2nd December, the prosecution will be given the opportunity to respond, and the defense teams will be able to reply to the prosecution's responses. Both Mr. Gutsati and Mr. Haradinaj will also be able to personally address the appeals panel if they wish to do so. Members of the public can follow the hearing on 1st and 2nd December from the premises of the specialist chambers in the public gallery or online through the website of the specialist chambers in Albanian, Serbian, or English. An earlier request by Mr. Haradinaj for an oral hearing to be scheduled in this case has now been issued in a public redacted version, which can be read on the Specialist Chambers website. This week, representatives of the Specialist Chambers held interactive outreach events with young people and civil society in the Gjilan area, in Pristina, and in Sterpce. In other news, Alex Whiting became the acting specialist prosecutor following the departure of Jack Smith as specialist prosecutor. Mr. Whiting will continue as acting specialist prosecutor until a new specialist prosecutor is appointed in accordance with the law.